So next concept to be discussed is refraction of light by the spherical surface. So till here we discussed refraction of light using a plane surfaces. But now we are going to discuss about refraction of light with the help of spherical surfaces. So spherical surfaces which will look like this. If you consider a sphere, and if you take a part of sphere, it will look like this. And we will try to pass, this is a transparent medium, and we will try to pass the light on this, and we will see the feature or the properties exhibited by that. So we will see refraction through this spherical surface. So while discussing about this, we will consider an infinitesimal part of the spherical surface. Infinitesimal part means we will consider a very small part. So if you consider this part, which look like a plane, so we can easily apply the Snell's law, because Snell's law is proved for a plane surface. That's why even if you are want to see the refraction through the spherical surface, we consider infinitesimal part of the spherical surface and we see the effects. So spherical surface means here we need to consider any transparent medium, because to undergo the refraction we need a transparent medium, which means the light has to pass through it. So to take a transparent medium, we consider some optical mediums which are made from glass. And those are called as lenses. Lens means these are the optical medium, means it is made from glass and which bounded by two surfaces. At least one of them should be spherical. Then those optical those are called as lenses. So there are different kinds of lenses we can see. There are different kinds of lenses are there. So let us see some types of lenses. Lens means, what is a lens? It is an optical medium bounded by two surfaces and at least one of them should be spherical. One of them should be spherical. So this is the definition for lens. Now let us see different kinds of lenses. So to get a more clear idea about this, I am using some pictures, and now you are watching on your screen.
These are the different types of lenses. The first one is a double convex lens. Second one is called a plano-convex lens. Third one is called as a convergence meniscus. The fourth one is called as a double concave lens. Fifth one is called plano-concave lens. And the last one is called as a diverging meniscus. If you see the double convex lens, which is thick at the center and which is thin at the edges. So if we come to the plano-convex lens, on one side it is plane and there is a curved surface on the other side. That's why it is called as a plano-convex lens. Third lens lens is called as a converging meniscus, which is used for converging purposes. Next lens is a double concave lens. So the identification double convex concave lens is they are thin at the center and thick at the edges. Next one is plano concave lens. One side is a plane, another one is a concave. So that's why it is known as a plano concave lens. Another one is diverging meniscus, which is used for diverging purposes. So the first three lenses are called as a converging lenses, and the last three lenses are called as diverging lenses. So these are the types of lenses.
Now, before getting into the refraction of light in a spherical surface, we need to know some of the terms which we use here. So let us do it first. Let us take a convex lens. This is the convex lens. So see, this convex lens has two spherical surfaces. See, this has one sphere. This is the another sphere, and part of which we have drawn here. Okay. So that this surface, this sphere will have some center here. This sphere will have center over here. And the center of this lens is called as an optic center. So geometrical center of a lens is called as an optic center. We should call center of this lens as an optic center. Then a line, I draw a line which join center curvature. This is center of this spherical surface, right? That's why this point is called as a center of curvature, or you can say radius of curvature. Curvature is this curvature. Whose radius? Center curvature or radius of curvature. So a line will, I will draw a line which connects the center of curvature and optic center. See, I draw a line which join center of curvature and optic center. This line is called principal axis. Okay. Here you can see center curvature. Let me write. This is C1 center curvature. This is center curvature. This spherical surface, that is C2. So the distance from let us learn it later. So this center curvature. This is also center curvature. This axis is called as a principal axis, and the center of this lens is called as an optic center. Now, if a parallel beam of light, parallel means all the rays are parallel to one another. If the parallel beam of light is incident on this lens, after refraction, they meet at a point on this principal axis. They will cross that principal axis. Okay? See, this will refract like this, they will pass like this. So this is the meeting at a one point. So if I consider many rays like this, they will meet at this point. See, if I consider like this will meet at this point. And this point on the principal axis is called as a focus. Focus means where the parallel rays meet on the principal axis. That is called as a focus. This point can also be called as focal point. That can be called as focal point. I should draw C over here. Okay. I'll draw C over here. This is because F will be, focus will be within the center curvature. That's all. So this is this point is called as a focal point, and the length from the optic center to this can be called as a focal length. This is focus. The point is called as a focal point, and the distance from the center to that point is called as a focal length. Okay. So this is a distance from optic center to the central curvature. This is also called as the radius of curvature. This is R2, and this is called as R1. That is central curvature of this surface. That's fine. Sorry, this is a C1, R1. This is a R2, C2. This has two focus. One focus is this one, F2. Another focus is this one. Since it contains two spherical surfaces, this is a one surface. This is the another surface. And this is the F1. This is the F2. And since this is on the side of C1, it's called as F1. Since the F2 is on the side of C2, which is called as a F2. Yeah. Then, if the image formed in the convex lens in the side of the object, here we are keeping the object, in this side itself, an image is formed. Then, the image formed on the same side as the object is called as a virtual image. If the image formed here, then the image is called as a virtual image. Okay? You should know this. If the image formed here, it is known as a virtual image. If the image is formed over here, it is known as the real image. Real image. Virtual image and real image. And this is known as if the object is like this, then it is known as a inverted. Okay? If the object is if the image is like this, then it is known as a inverted. If the image formed over here is like this, if the image formed like this, which is a virtual image, and this image is called as an erected image. Okay? Which is not inverted. So such images are called as an erected image. So these are the similar case can be true for concave lens also. You can also draw this for concave. In the concave lens also, this is true. And if you consider a concave lens, this is the principal axis. Here it will have a C1. Here it will have a C2. F1 will be there. F2 is also. And see, this is a one spherical part of a sphere, and this is a part of another sphere. Okay, this is central curvature. These are the two focus. That's why they are called as the foci. And whatever the image is formed on the same side as the object is called as a virtual image, and the image formed on opposite side of the object is called as a real image. So this is about some of the terms which we use in this while discussing the concept of refraction to a lens. So this is true for both the lenses. I mean for the concave as well as the convex lens. So this is about some of the terms which we use in this concept. Then, so to do some mathematical equations, or while proving some equations, or while calculating image distances or object distances, we will follow some mathematical sign conventions. So let us see what are the signs, what are the mathematical conventions we follow. The meaning is, if you write the value of any focal length, if you are writing the value of a radius, then we will put some sign. Okay? So these are the Cartesian signs we need to follow while writing the values of those things. So let us see the values of that sign. Let us see the sign conventions. One more thing. For example, if we place the object here, let us say this object. So the distance from this optic center to this object is called as the object distance. Okay, that is represented by letter U. If the image is found over here, then the distance from image to this optic center of the lens is called as image distance, which is represented by V. So U means object distance, V means it is image distance. So this is the things we must know before discuss about the refraction through the lenses or the spectral surfaces. Let us see some sign conventions. Sign conventions. Okay, you need to put the sign here. So first sign convention is all the distances should be measured from the optic center. See, in all the cases I was taking the distance from the optic center. Okay, that is the first point. All the distances should take from optic center. All the distances should take from optic center. Now, second point is if the distance is measured along the direction of light. Let me try to draw a picture. See, this is a ray of light, which let us say it forms a image over there. Okay. Now, this is the object here. Distance optic center to object can be called as U, and the distance from optic center to the formation of image is called as image distance, which is V. Now see here, this is direction of light is in this way. You have to, the value of U should measure from this optic center according to the first point, and you should measure that from this point itself. This is a 0. Okay, next is here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, goes like this. So you are measuring the distance from optic center, and you are measuring the distance in a direction opposite of this, because the light is traveling like this. Okay, but you are measuring it in this direction. Your value of length is increasing in this direction, but the light is traveling in another direction. So the distance is measured in the direction of light should be taken as constant. Let's see here. Light is going like this, in this direction moving, and V is measuring in this direction itself. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will increase. So the distance is measured in the direction of light should be taken as positive, and the distance is measured in a direction opposite to the direction of light should be taken as negative. That is why V will be positive, because it is along the direction. When we measure the distance in the direction of light, and for the object distance we have to measure in a direction opposite to the direction of this light. That is why U will be negative. So let me write all distances measured in the direction of light is positive, and opposite to direction of light is negative. Okay, that is the one point. If the object is situated like this. Okay, there is object like this. If we consider object like this is the image formed, image of this object. Okay, then the height measure, this is the height of this. Let us say this is the height of this h dash. The height measure above the principal axis is taken as positive. Height measure below the principal axis taken as negative. See here, this height is, this is plus h. We should take plus h. This height should be taken as negative because it is below the principal axis. Height measured above principal axis taken as positive and below principal axis taken as negative. These are the some sign conventions that we have to follow